hello.
Listen, Gong. Millions of kids' school records are on computers, and there's a madman wiping out all the kids' attendance records.
You promised I should have at least one day off, though.
So I'm on my way to see a rodeo.
Listen, Gong. You're my best hope, Gong.
Oh, all right, I'll go ahead and do it if it's for the kids' sake. Send my orders. I'll contact you as soon as I've learned something.
James, your mission, whether you choose to accept it or not, is to locate the source of a deadly computer virus that is infesting the schools. This virus is designed by an evil villain who's causing the kids to lose a whole year of school. If you don't stop him, the kids will have to go back and retake their last school year.
Wait a minute, you mean every kid would have to go back one grade? Holy microchips control! How am I going to help these kids? I don't know anything about computers.
Pay attention, Agent 14. We believe the virus has come from somewhere inside the information market. Your contact there will be Agent 27, who goes by the name Penny. She's working undercover there, and she's been notified of your arrival. Also, arrangements have been made for you to receive video training. Good luck, James, and please be careful. By the way, attached to this device you'll find a powerful multi-frequency radio transmitter in case you need to broadcast a message.
Boswick, I need to go to the information market straight away. Balls, look, the last time I saved the world, it only took a couple of hours. So be a good chap and wait for me here, will you? Excuse me, sir.
Yes.
You wouldn't have to know Miss Penny by any chance, would you?
Penny, I don't...
Well, then, never mind that. You see, I need to learn about personal computers.
There's lots of places in our building here that provide personal computers.
Okay, well, you see, I'm Gong. James Gong. And I was sent here to pick up a cassette about personal computers.
Oh, yes, we're expecting you. AMUSA prepared some tapes especially for you. Yes.
There are 2 tapes?
Yes, I understand one is for personal computers and the second one is for the disk operating system.
Oh, all right then. Well, thank you very much for your time, sir.
Good.
Excuse me. Good day, madam. I was wondering, you wouldn't happen to know a Miss Penny by any chance, would you?
I sure do. You just missed her. She was here helping us debug a critical software program on that 486 computer.
She knows a lot about computers, does she?
She sure does. She's an expert on computers and their operating systems.
Computers and their operating systems, eh? Oh, yes, yes. Well, thank you very much, and I'll see if I can learn of her whereabouts.
Okay.
No. Quite right. My fault, I'm sure. You wouldn't by chance be Penny, would you?
Why, yes, I am. Are you? You wouldn't be.
Gong. James Gong.
Gong. Well, anyway, I'm glad I, ran into you. Here, take this disc. It has an antidote file on it that can cure the virus that's infecting the schools. Somebody tried to snatch my bag. I didn't see them. They got away in the crowd.
What shall I do with this?
Find a PC around somewhere and see if my files are still on the disk.
But I don't... Oh, yes. I could perhaps meet you somewhere after I've had a chance to check them out.
Meet me in the coffee shop in half an hour. I'll fill you in then.
James, we were fortunate to find Special Agent 45, best agent expert on PCs. Are you ready for your briefing?
Cowabunga! This routine ought to defy gravity. If the sequential writes to the random block read would just set the point to the right device, this thing should go ballistic. It may not be pretty, but I'll bet it's fast.
Hey, James, I hear you're tracking down a really bad dude down there in Texas. I hope you're not too late to catch the rodeo, so I'll be brief. Here's the buzz on personal computers.
First off, the personal computer does a lot of different things. I mean, it's like a major time saver. It can save lots of information, like a filing cabinet. It's a calculator that can remember last year's calculations. It's a typewriter that can save and retype anything you've ever told it. It's a drafting tablet where you can redesign a new car or a skyscraper. And if it's hooked up with other PCs, it's a message center and a lot of other things. Actually, the more you learn about it, the more things you can figure out to do with it. A PC is like the stereo. You know, a jam box is made up of different components that do different things, like the tape deck, the CD deck, the speakers, the tuner, and so on. Each do different things, but they all work together to make a stereo. Well, a PC is like different components all connected together to make up a personal computer. The PC has chips inside, all plugged into a motherboard, which is like the engine that drives the PC. The main part of the motherboard is called the CPU, which stands for the Central Processing Unit. Okay, the PC can remember things in two different ways. You see, it has two types of memory. One is called ROM, for read-only memory, and the other is RAM, for random access memory. ROM memory stays there all the time. It's built into the chips. So even when the PC is turned off, It remembers what was put there. Now let me get technical for just a second. The ROM, you see, holds the basic input-output system information. They call that the BIOS. So when you turn on the PC, it knows how to start off doing what it's supposed to do. The RAM memory, on the other hand, is only happening when the computer is up and running. The contents of the RAM memory are erased when you turn the computer off. Mega just means millions. So really large memories may be measured in megabytes or millions of bytes. And by the way, thousands of millions are called gigabytes, which would be an awesome machine, but I'll brief you more about bytes and stuff in a minute. Okay, the way information gets into a PC is through an input device. And to get things out, you use an output device. The keyboard is the most common way to put information into a computer. Also, a mouse is an input device that lets you move a cursor around the screen. You can draw graphics with the mouse, or use it to select from menus. A monitor, or computer screen, is an output device. This way, you can see the information inside the computer. Monitors can come in color or monochrome, which just means it isn't color. You might want to put what you see on a monitor on paper, so you could print it out on a piece of paper using a printer, which just hooks up to the PC. A printer is also an output device. But there are other ways in which you can get data in and out of a PC. By the way, data is the stuff that you put in or take out of a computer, okay? Computers can send and receive data from other computers through the telephone lines. A signal from the sending computer is modulated, and the receiving computer then has to demodulate the signal. This modulate and demodulate gives the term modem, which is what we call the device that lets you send signals back and forth using the telephone lines. And this lets computers link up with other computers anywhere in the world. Speaking of communicating, a PC talks a special language all its own. It's a machine language called binary code. Binary means 2, so the code is based on 2 digits, 0 and 1. So all the computer has to know is 2 things, 0 and 1. You see, the microchips process things by flipping lots of miniature switches called bits. And 8 bits arranged in different combinations represent the different letters and numbers we see. These 8 bits make a byte, and bytes are what the PC uses to communicate with. Okay, now memory comes in different sizes. Like check this bodacious auto. Since these lines and colors are just so many different numbers crunching inside the RAM memory, it can take a radical amount of RAM to handle some of these graphics. RAM can be like 640K, where the K stands for kilo, which means 1,000. So you might see a PC that has like a 640,000 byte memory. Some PCs have over a megabyte of RAM, which is over 1 million bytes. The PC's RAM memory is measured in bytes, and the data saved on a disk is measured in bytes. The PC processes data in bytes and sends data over phone lines in bytes. I mean, it all happens in bytes. So what's with all this bits and bytes stuff, you may ask? Well, think about it this way. Anything you put in or get out of the PC is really happening in bytes. If a byte is arranged in a special combination, it represents a letter, like this letter X, or the number 8. They're just 1 byte of binary code. PCs need special instructions that can decode the binary code, so people can interact with the PC. So they develop special languages so people can create programs or applications, you know, the software that works on a PC. I mean, how about video games? Somebody's gotta think them up, but then somebody has to write the code that makes them work. Hey, a computer without software is like having a TV with No programs to watch. Also, like dropping a CD into a stereo. Bytes of stuff can be put into the PC with a floppy diskette. Look, there are fixed disks that are also called hard disks, or removable disks that are just floppies, like these. Now hard disks, they can be like huge, and I'm talking some radical storage devices, if you know what I mean. Millions of billions of words can fit on some hard disks without a hitch. All disks are measured in how many bytes they can hold. And floppies come in two different sizes, and both sizes can hold different amounts of data. In other words, different amounts of bytes. Well, James, obviously there's mountains of stuff you can learn about PCs, but that's the basics. That's what you need to know about using a PC to get you started. That's your briefing on personal computers, old chap. I'll be back in a flash. Say, James, welcome back. Here's the buzz on DOS. James, what DOS does is two things. First, it's like a secret ingredient that lets all the different parts of a PC and all the different kinds of software work together. But as a matter of fact, most of DOS's functions are done without anyone ever noticing them. They're like undercover, you know. It operates behind the scenes. Second, the part of DOS, James, that you can operate is the part where you can make your PC do things in better ways, if you know how to use DOS. By the way, MS-DOS stands for Microsoft Disk Operating System. Okay, now, to explain DOS clearly, check this. A floppy disk is like a notebook, okay? Can you relate? You know, a 3-ring binder. You can add pages or take stuff out, right? Well, that's like a floppy disk, or I guess a hard disk for that matter. And you can divide a notebook into sections using dividers, right? You can divide a disk into directories. Same deal. You can put labels on your tabs that are on the dividers, right? Like so, you can keep your algebra separated from your history notes. Well, you can name the directories on the disk when you create them too. Okay, now your notebook has your homework and biology notes and lots of other things. Each of these is just a little part of what's in the total notebook. Same with a disk, except it's called a file. Any information inside any section of your notebook, like a single page, maybe several pages, a note to your girlfriend, or maybe an entire report on Africa, can be put into one file, like this. A file is what you use to put individual pieces of information into on a disk. Anytime you type something, create a letter, create a spreadsheet, or create or save anything, you can give it a name that saves it in a file. And the name you pick will help keep it organized. In fact, file names can be one of the most important elements in using DOS. You can use any combination of letters or numbers to name a file. Think about it this way. DOS files have first and last names, just like people, okay? And they're separated by a dot, a period, you know. The last names are called extensions, and they usually tell you what kind of file it is. Like say a file with just words is called a text file, and a file with just organized information is called a database file, and a spreadsheet file is often full of numbers. Extensions don't have to be used, but names without extensions should be saved for directories. Trust me, it makes it a lot easier. Extensions can be up to 3 letters or numbers long. Let me give you an example. The extension .txt is often used for text files, and .doc is used for document files, and .wks is often used for worksheet files, and .dbf is for database files. You get to pick any number of characters, using no more than 8 in the first name. Don't try to use a space though. DOS will not let you put a space in a file name. Files can have from 1 to 8 characters, but with only 8 letters or numbers to name a file, well, sometimes you have to be pretty creative using those letters. That way, you can remember what's in a file after a few weeks have gone by. And be careful that you don't pick a name you've used before. If you do, you will replace the old version with the new one. So, information can be put into a file folder, like this, or it can be named and saved into a file on a diskette. Let's check out the screen for a second. See this? This is the DOS prompt. It appears on the screen after you turn on the PC. DOS names the drive using letters. When you see the C prompt, then that indicates you're logged onto the C drive. The DOS prompt is usually a C or an A, depending on which disk drive DOS used to boot up the PC. Okay, let's move from one disk to another. So, first I'll insert a disk into the A floppy drive so we can read it. I'll be sure and shut the drive door. Then, I'll type the letter of that drive and type in A:, and hit the enter key. Oh yeah, see this blinking little dash? That's called the cursor. Okay, let's look at some files. To look at files on this disk, you have to tell DOS to list them on the screen. So here's your first DOS command. Okay, you type dir/p. dir stands for directory, like telephone directory. And the /p causes the list to stop when the screen gets full. Press the enter key, and here come the files if there are any, one screen full at a time. Look close. See the information you get about each file? And see the dot here separates the file name and the file extension. Over here is the size of the file in bytes, and the date and time it was either created or last saved. Hey, check it out. Here's the file on Agent Penny Penny. I'll make you a copy of it and send it to you. After all, I sent her your file. You can make a copy of a file just by telling DOS that you want one. Type COPY, the full name of the file you want to copy, first and last name, including the dot. Then, type in where you want it copied to. Be careful about where you copy a file though. If you already have a file by the same name on the disk you're trying to copy to, then you'll overwrite the old file and the old version will be lost. Of course, you do have to clean out things now and then. I mean, do you carry around last year's homework? So you might want to clean out a few files now and then. Just type in DEL, the file name, the enter key, and zap. Believe me, it's out of there. But please, James, be careful if you even think about using this command. Let's see. You can rename a file if you want to use the rename command. Oh, for sure. Let's say you want to check out a diskette. What would you do first? Use the command CHKDSK. This stands for check disk. Check disk gives you a report on how much RAM memory is available on the PC and how much disk memory is available. It also tells you how many files the disk has and if it's got any subdirectories. And it even tells if any parts or sectors of the disk are in bad shape. James, data that's stored on disk can be lost, so be careful and be prepared. You could use the copy command and copy important files onto a spare diskette. But there's also a command called backup that allows you to put large files or big groups of files from a hard disk onto several floppies. Backup can be a time saver if you need to back up a whole hard disk to several floppy diskettes, because DOS will tell you when you need to insert a new floppy into the drive and handle all the organization. And if suddenly your hard disk suffers a major meltdown and all of your files are lost, you could reinstall your files from a recent backup. Of course, you'd have to first fix your hard disk, but then you could put the backed up disk into a floppy drive and type in restore, and all the data will go back where it was, automatically. The final DOS command I want to brief you on is called the disk copy command. The disk copy command makes a clone of a floppy disk, an exact copy of everything that is on the disk, like making an exact copy of your entire notebook. No prob. You don't have to have 2 floppy disk drives either. Type disk copy A:, B:, if you've got 2 drives, or disk copy A:, if you've just got 1. And one more thing, if the PC gets hung up, or locks up or something, there is a way out. Just reboot the PC. Hold down the control key, the alt key, and the delete key all at the same time. That's called rebooting the PC. Okay, James, the DOS commands I've covered are the main ones that you need to start using a PC. Well, good luck, old boy, and happy hunting. This is the end of the MS-DOS briefing.
Oh, hello again.
Did you check?
No, I haven't been able to find a PC that is quite available just yet.
Are you getting married this evening?
No, I was on my way to see a rodeo. I hear they are quite popular out here in the West.
You mean rodeo? You'd look cute at a rodeo in that outfit. James, I hate to be the one to break it to you, but I think you'd be just a teeny bit overdressed. The chief told me to call when I had a suspect.
Here, I have a transmitter. Oh, gave it to me. He's always coming along with some kind of new toy.
James, didn't they tell you? That's a radio transmitter. You can broadcast over any radio station in town with that. A phone will do nicely, thanks. By the way, I wonder why they call him O.
Because he's the second one after M, I suppose.
I have a feeling the theme behind all this virus business is some kind of mad professor or something.
This is so?
Hello. Oh, this is Agent 27. I ran into Agent 14. We're closing in our search for the source of the virus program files. I have a suspect now, and I can confirm that the virus is originating from here.
All right, 27. Be careful, and good luck. Gloria, could you please call the hangar and have him bring my helicopter up to the roof? I think our agents could be in for some trouble.
So, tell me about this virus.
Well, first, a virus is a major evil thing, like something that can wreck your whole day, not to mention the computer's data. I have learned that there is a code name. L-Virus keeps turning up as the prime suspect that I think is creating the bad program files. And he has some kind of distribution scheme that is putting the virus files into lots of our school computers.
So I guess we need an antidote for the virus.
That's exactly right, James. That's exactly right. That's what I had on those discs. The one I had was erased, formatted, but the one I gave you, maybe it still contains the files. We need to check it out.
So, you want to be sure and put your user files on your hard disk when you get back to your school. Just remember, type the A: and user, USER.
You see, James, I spent months working on this antidote program that I wrote that made Elvirus's virus harmless.
So it was on your hard disk here, and suddenly it was gone?
That's right. Someone found out about it and deleted those files.
But I thought you could copy the file to another part of the hard disk. Or couldn't you make backup copies of your work?
Yes, you can, and I did. But someone deleted my backup diskettes too. Go ahead and look at the diskette I gave you.
Well, we must find the source of the virus program files. I'll venture that's where your antidote program diskettes are as well.
I want to thank all of you teachers for coming today and taking our course on how to use your personal computers. Here are your free diskettes.
Thank you, Doctor. You've been very helpful.
Oh, thank you. You don't know how glad I am you came.
Using a service like Prodigy, files can be sent to other PC users. But I don't think the virus can be sent to teachers using Prodigy. Subscribers know what they're receiving and if they want it or not. And it wouldn't be exclusive to just schools.
So it's possible that Elvirus is somehow sending out virus files over the telephone lines?
It's a possibility. You see, James, all anyone needs is a modem that fits either inside or connected to a computer. That way anyone can send and receive files.
Let's see. Modems talk to each other by using modulated and demodulated signals to the telephone lines.
Right on, James. James, you really are getting pretty good at personal computer operations. My report said you didn't know anything about computers.
Well, I picked up a few things, strolling about.
Well, we've searched every database that has information of any kind sent to schools. I was just convinced this virus is being sent via modems and telephone lines. The school that we've checked don't even have modems on their PCs yet. That seems to blow my whole theory for how Elvirus is sending out the virus program files. But they're getting into the school somehow.
Penny, I've got it. Say this was a school. Who goes into the building? Students, teachers, and the administration and maintenance people, right?
Well, yes, I guess that's right. But what's that got to do with anything?
Well, then the computer virus is somehow being sent in by those groups.
Yeah, that must be how they're getting in.
And the students and janitors usually don't have access to the attendance records.
No, the teachers keep the attendance records. And the teachers are probably taking the files into the schools, and they probably don't even know it.
Exactly. Didn't I see a directory of the various computer training schools here in the Infomart? Perhaps there's a school just for teachers.
Yeah, in the main lobby. There's a lot of computer training schools.
Well, there's MUSA. They make video training.
Are you familiar with them?
Well, yes, I've seen a few of their programs.
James, look. Classroom Teacher Computer Training Institute, CTCTI.
Excuse me, sir. You wouldn't happen to know about this Teachers Training Institute?
Well, that's Dr. Leonard Russ's school for teachers. It's classes on enrollment records.
Thank you, sir.
James, we had better be careful before we go busting in and accusing this Dr. Russ. What if he's not the culprit?
Come on, Penny. Whoa, Penny. Go ask that lady up there if she just happens to be a teacher. And if she just happened to come from CTCTI. She certainly looks like a teacher if I've ever seen one.
Okay, James.
Now we can see if it's true.
Okay, let me see if I can do this. First, I need to do a listing to see what's on this diskette. If I put it in here, this is called the A drive, right?
Right. The command you want is dir for directory listing.
Oh yes, here's the files, but how do we know if any of them are bad?
Well, James, remember, files can be named anything as long as they are not over 8 letters or numbers long. And they can have a 3-letter or number extension.
Yeah, that's right. And what was it? Certain files are data files and certain files are program files. Program files are files that do something or make something happen, but they have some kind of different last part, if I recall correctly.
Right. The file extension can be a BAT, a COM, or an EXE. Batch files can be easily created by anyone that really knows DOS. Tell the computer to type out the contents of the BAT file here, the one that says user.bat. Just key in TYPE and the name of the file, including the extension.
Look there it is. These commands are telling the computer to copy these other files over onto the hard disk.
That's right. This file would also alter the autoexec bat file on the computer that ran it. Remember, the autoexec bat file is one of the 2 files the computer looks at when it initializes, or what's called boots up.
So just by putting in this diskette into any computer and typing user would cause all that to happen.
And more, because those other program files are likely what causes the attendance records to be mysteriously deleted.
We've got to make a copy of this diskette. This is crucial evidence.
Well, use the disk copy command, or you could make a backup of the information on that disk.
Have you got a spare diskette?
We are going to have to find the original files and link those files to this Elvirus, whoever he is, to make a case. James, we'll keep one copy, and we'll hide this copy in case something happens to that copy.
We've got to case the classroom teacher's computer institute and find those source files.
We also need to be careful, James. This man is ruthless. Anyone who would pick on innocent kids is a fiend. He could be dangerous.
Come on, Penny. We've got to do it for the kids' sake. Penny. L.V. Russ. L-Virus. Penny, this is the guy.
Oh my, James, you're right. Look, James, we've caught him.
And this wouldn't be one of your diskettes, would it?
James, what do we do? He's getting away. I know, I'll call the chief. Oh, this is Agent 27. I'm with Agent 14. We have identified Elvirus, and we have enough evidence to make an arrest. The only problem is we're trapped in Elvirus' office, and he's getting away.
What? He's getting away? We've got to stop him. Hang on, Penny. I'm on my way. Gloria, tell him to crank up the chopper.
James, I've got it. Your transmitter. Here, put it on stereo 103.6.
Okay, I think that's it.
Okay, is this the button to transmit? Okay, here goes. Paging Dr. Leonard Russ. My God, James, this just has to work. Paging Dr. Leonard Russ. Please return to your office for an important message.
Who are you and what are you doing in my office?
I'm Gong. James Gong. And I'd say you were in for a bit of trouble. I'm placing you under arrest, Mr. Elvirus, for wiping out the records of all school kids.
Oh, so you're James Gong of Her Majesty's Secret and Selective Service. But you'll never catch me, Gong.
Whew, boy, that was a close one. We were almost locked in again.
Emergency, emergency. Will all security personnel immediately proceed to the escalators? Please detain Dr. Linton Russ. He is a wanted criminal. Penny, this way. We'll try to cut him off. We finally got you, Virus.
So, you must be the pint-sized hacker who tried to foil my plans with your silly little antidote program.
Why were you trying to wipe out all the school records anyway?
With all the records messed up, the teachers would have to keep coming back to me for more and more computer training. My teacher enrollment would increase till I was the largest computer training school in the world. I could have made millions.
Well, Penny, you said this man was a mad professor, and you were right. Let's get him out of here.
Hello, Penny. Hello, James.
I might have known it'd be you. Take him away and throw away the key.
Tell me, oh, you know that guy?
Yes, that's El. You know, the one before him. Then he just turned into a bad teacher.
Boy, there's nothing worse than a bad teacher.
But he won't be able to mess with any more kids for a long time.
Am I glad he wasn't my teacher?
Well, oh, I've got to go.
All right, see you later.
Well, Penny, what do you say we take some bucking broncos and get away from all this computer stuff for a while?
That's okay, James. I can't go out with boys until I'm 16. And besides, I don't think I could go out with a man who wears a tuxedo to a rodeo. So long, James. See you around.
Another tough day, sir.
Oh, no. The usual thing, Boswell. Have you ever been to a rodeo, Boswell?